There truly is nothing more certain than taxes, death, and price increases. Because as these corporate people are starting to figure out, if they increase our Lucky Charms by 50 cents, sure, you and me are going to go ahead and complain about it. But the very next week when our box runs out, we're going to go out there and buy it anyways. And that's what's happening right now with Netflix, as they are increasing their prices again for what I believe is like the third time in 2 years, which is kind of insane. And I want to go ahead and talk about it. I'm your host, Seb, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment down below. What's your favorite streaming service right now? I think personally, mine is going to be Amazon Prime, just because I've been really enjoying the shows that they put out. Shout out Fallout, shout out The Boys Universe. But let me know what you guys think. Now, back on the topic of Netflix, they went ahead and increased their prices for the standard plan from $18 to $20 and the premium plan from $25 to $27. Their ad enabled plan went from $8 to $9, only a dollar increase or something like that. And I mean, I guess that's not the biggest worry. It's mostly about these higher end tiers, the standard and the premium, because at $27 a month, that is ridiculous. Like, the fact that you have to work more than 2 hours at a McDonald's in order to meet that minimum is insane. And before we go any further in this video, because I know some people are going to be out there and say, well, Sebastian, like, Netflix is a privilege. Like, you don't have to have it to survive. And that is super true. And I'll go ahead and say that, I mean, this is coming from a standpoint of, like, I have a roof over my head and, you know, there's always food on the table and I'm working an internship with a company. So, like, yeah, I know my perspective is a little bit different, but we can also acknowledge the fact that what Netflix is doing with the prices is kind of insane. And it really sucks because the main reason why people pay for these higher end tiers is because maybe they're wanting to share it with the family. But most importantly, it's to skip all of the ads, because the one thing that we all love is our time. And having or watching the show, and in the middle of the episode, you know, you're getting to this dramatic moment and then boom, ad break. You know, you're going to hear about your Tide Pods, or you're going to see like Patrick Mahomes with State Farm or whatever. Like, sure, that's cool and all, but that's not going to stop me from watching like my show. Like, I don't really want that to. And having to pay an extra $20 so that way all of my family and I can just, you know, avoid all of those ads so we can watch our movies and shows in peace is just insane. Now, I know it's not just Netflix that's doing that. I know that there's other subscription services that are doing the same thing, and Netflix is just the one that we're making the video about today. But I really want to take a moment and talk about what this means and like why they're doing it, because I did read an interesting article about it that made a couple of good points. The first point that the article stated is that this is probably just a pivot to make people start moving towards the ad-enabled plan instead of the ad-free one, because of how much of a price difference it is. And they made a note to say that if you wanted to have HBO, Amazon, Netflix, and Peacock all on the ad-free tiers, it would cost like $75 a month to do that. Or you could choose all of their like ad-enabled plans for like $40 a month. And that's literally like half the price. And they're saying like, why wouldn't you take that? And there's a reason why they're doing it. And it's because the ad market is starting to become more lucrative. They're getting a lot more benefits from having people watch the ads and getting that like ad income versus them just paying the premium tiers and getting ad-free content. I don't have the numbers to back this up, and obviously I don't work at Netflix or any of these other companies to tell you like that's the case. And some of these companies have even come out and said like, no, we're not doing it to match like the 1-for-1 rates or whatever. But I do think that that was an interesting point for the article to make, because that wasn't even something that I was considering, but it kind of makes sense when you start to think about it, because they would benefit from, you know, the ad income. I mean, just look at YouTube or TikTok or any of these other websites or content sites that have ads, and you can see like that's why they're all free to use for people. And then the watch time and the ad time is what ends up driving the money for the content creator. On paper, the theory makes sense, but I'm not sure that I'm completely buying it, just because they haven't come out and said anything and we don't really have numbers to base it off of. What I think this really is just another simple case of corporate greed. The reason why I say that is just because we'll look at Netflix's profits from 2025 and they profited $11 billion. That's after all of their expenses have been paid. That's after all of their projects are accounted for and, you know, everybody's getting paid. $11 billion is what they ended up taking home as a company. Now, before any of you pipsqueaks decide to get up and, you know, start defending your CEOs and companies, that is way a lot of money that you are taking home, and they're wanting to increase the prices from that. Like, I can't understand it. Because $11 billion, like, what richest person in the world is like, what, Elon at like 450, and then the next person is like Jeff Bezos like 300 or whatever, and then like all these other people that are like 100 billion or whatever. Like, what do they do with all that money? You know, like, you don't you don't need that much. $11 billion, and you're still gonna keep making that money for like years to come. Like, how many more yachts do we need, guys? How many more mansions are we wanting? You know, are we getting like a one of one limited edition Bugatti? Like, I just don't understand why we need more than $11 billion. For me, my original answer was just stop funding all of these big projects until they end up proving themselves, because we have seen that in the past few years, Netflix has given some big budgets to a couple of flops. And the biggest questions come from, like, where's all this money coming from? Because if you're giving these budgets to like to projects, right? And then the projects don't turn out great. Like, the one that's on my mind is The Electric State. Like, that movie didn't have great acting in it, although it had a great acting cast. They just, I don't know, maybe they didn't have their hearts in it. And then also just the visual effects behind it and the storytelling, I don't know. It was all just kind of weak. And they put in $320 million. Like, that is the 17th highest budget movie of all time. And the only things in front of it are Star Wars, Avatar, and then I think it was like Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, no, sorry. It was Marvel's. And I think Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And so it's just like if those are the only things ahead of you, like, I mean, I'm not surprised that those are, but like, why are you even up there in that crowd? Like, for a movie that ended up flopping as bad as The Electric State, like, I just don't get it. But they can't really be all of the problem just because Electric State was only like 320 million, and the estimated total from them doing this is probably going to be like, I don't know, $1 billion extra for a year. So I mean, it's like a third of the price. You know, even if they just remove The Electric State, they're still not making as much. It's just like I said, it just feels like it's corporate greed, and I hate it, because all of us just want to get off our 9 to 5s and then come home and then just watch some Breaking Bad or some anime or whatever the case is, Bridgerton for all I know, and we gotta pay a couple more dollars so we can watch it ad free. Like, that just sucks. I'm really hoping that this is the last price increase that we see from Netflix for a while, because I'm getting sick and tired of it. And I just don't get it. I didn't even know we were in like the 20s range or whatever. Like, the last time I checked, it was like, what, $12 for the family plan, and now we're more than double that. And so I just don't get it, guys. Like, I don't know, maybe they're just hating on all of my low income earners. Like, they want them to just spend all their time watching ads instead of enjoying their content. And I guess it's probably just going to make people pivot onto other platforms that cost less and give you a little bit more. Like, Amazon Prime is doing such a great job, because I pay like, what, $6 a month, and I get the Prime Music, Prime Video, and then Prime Services because I'm on the student discount. And so I think that's a great bundle. And sure, on Amazon I won't pay for the ads just because it's like all included, and I don't really care to up the expenses on it. But if I'm getting all of that from paying $6 a month on Amazon, and I have to pay $20 on Netflix, like, come on, dude. I just rather not use Netflix at that point. But of course, Netflix is a non-essential, and so if you guys can't afford to pay it, I really encourage you guys to just not pay it. But I mean, what do I know? I guess I don't know anything, because I'm going to be the guy who complains about it in this video, and next week I'm paying the bill. Regardless, thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.